Some of the pickleball tips I hear out there are not great. In fact, they may even be hurting your game. In this video, I'm gonna expose the most common pickleball myths that I hear so we can set the record straight. So believe it or not, I've been in pickleball 7 years now. I started around 2018, 2019. It's now 2025. I've taught thousands of people. I've done clinics. I've done, obviously, YouTube lessons. I've seen a lot of pickleball. In that time, I've come across a lot of common tips, myths, things that I hear people come to me and say, hey, this coach told me to do this. Hey, this player told me to do this. So what we're gonna do in this video is we're gonna go through the ones that I hear most often, and I'm gonna tell you my opinion on them. Are they good advice? Are they bad advice? Should we be doing it a different way? So let's get into it. So the first one we're gonna talk about is specifically about the ready position. And it is this concept that I hear all the time, which is keep your paddle tip up, or even like the ready position, you know, where we want our paddle. We want the paddle kind of high up in front of us, paddle tip up. And I think a lot of this stems from tennis. Tennis coaches, ex-tennis players, it's very important in tennis to keep this wrist angle firm, keep this 90-degree angle, and keep your racket up, because when we volley and everything we do in tennis, we maintain these angles. And I would have probably agreed with that 5-6 years ago when I was starting pickleball. But if you look at what a lot of the top pros are doing, especially a lot of the top kind of like younger junior kids, good players with no tennis background, you're more and more seeing this kind of flat wrist position. You can be more dynamic with your paddle, with your shots, without having this angle. It's not to say that's wrong. There are some pros. There's like, I would say Callie Smith, who's got this kind of very sharp angle in a high ready position. She's a very good player, but it's not the only way to do it. I think there is definitely a case to be made, and you're seeing more predominantly a ready position that has kind of a straight line through the arm and all the way through the tip of the paddle. I've recently switched to kind of keeping my paddle like that, and for me personally, it feels way more comfortable. I feel more dynamic. I feel like I can maneuver the ball a little bit more. This isn't wrong, but it's also not the only way you can do it. So experiment a little bit with your ready position and see what feels good for you. I hope you're enjoying the video, guys. If you like this kind of content and want more, make sure you like and subscribe, because that allows me to make more videos just like this. So the second common myth that I hear all the time is, I see it on the rec courts all the time, it's forehand takes the middle. You know, you see a ball come through and you hear, oh, that was my ball because it was my forehand. Or maybe a return a serve, you hear, oh, let me take that, that's my forehand. The only situation where I think that's actually true is on a high floaty ball in the middle, okay? Either high or maybe even overhead, but in that situation, this person can hit the ball harder with their forehand than this person would be able to do with their backhand, okay? So that's probably the one situation where it actually applies, where forehand takes the middle. In every other situation, dinking, there's a lot of determining factors. You've got which direction is the ball going? How are you shifting? Is the ball coming towards me, or is it moving across my body? You also have like, who's more of a threat? There's nothing to say that my partner's backhand dink might be better than my forehand dink, okay? Automatically, a forehand dink isn't a better shot. You know, we may discuss that any middle dink I'm gonna let my partner take. If I'm playing with Riley Newman, I'm gonna let him take this middle dink because he's got a really good backhand that he's gonna be able to dictate and move the ball around. Same goes with third shots. There's nothing that says that my forehand is necessarily better than my partner's backhand, okay? So this idea that forehand always takes the middle just because is not really applicable. Like I said, unless it's just that high ball where I can simply get more power on the put away than my partner will be able to get with their backhand. So the third common myth that I hear, and this one I hear a lot personally, is we should always step into the ball. Okay? You always want to be moving forward. You always want to step into the ball. I know this personally because I've made a lot of videos about the forehand, specifically, you know, the serve or the forehand drive. I'm a big believer in an open stance shot, especially in a lot of scenarios. And the comments I get are endless about, you should be closed stance, you should be stepping in. Ben John says to step into every shot. If that were the case, then why do 90% of top tennis players hit predominantly open stance on their forehand side? If stepping in is such a superior way to do it, then why do most tennis players play with an open stance. The truth, the reality is that it's situational. If I'm having to move back for a shot, if I'm having to move wide for a shot, if I don't have a whole lot of time and maybe I'm moving through the ball, the open stance can be quicker. It can get me to the ball quicker. It can recover a little bit quicker. So there are times where that is definitely a more efficient way to do it. Now, if the ball's in front of me, I'm lined up, and I can make a movement forward, then a step into the ball, yes, I will be able to transfer some body weight. I'll be able to get a little bit more power, and there can be some benefits to that as well. We have to, again, understand that there's not just one way that's good. It's situational. An open stance in a lot of cases is a better way to do it. So the last common one that I hear all the time is more of a positioning thing, and it has to do with being at the kitchen line. And the advice that I hear is don't back up, right? So once you get up to the line, hold the line, don't back up. You don't want to give up space. This one couldn't be more untrue. If you watch top pro players, if you watch any point, you're going to see at any given time movement on and off the line of, probably 4 to 5 feet. You'll see step in to hit a shot. You'll see coming back from defense. You'll see stepping back, coming back to the line. There's very dynamic movement of about a 6-foot window from the kitchen line back and also even forward if the ball is short, okay? So some of the common mistakes I see are, and probably what coaches talk about when they're saying this, is you'll see kind of a newer player take a step back and then they just make this their new position now. Now they're just playing pickleball from here. They never reestablish. There definitely are times to step back. If the ball is deep and you wanna get some time, or maybe it's on top of you a little bit too quickly, maybe you pop the ball up slightly or you hit kind of a dead dink and you're afraid your opponents might attack. Those are all situations where, if you feel threatened, you take 1 or 2 steps back, you gain a little space and time to react to the ball. But remember, as soon as that threat is neutralized, as soon as you or your partner hit a shot that you're not in kind of a defensive position anymore, we need to reestablish right back up to that kitchen line. Definitely don't be afraid to step back, but remember, it's a back and forth kind of thing. It's only, if you're stepping back, it's maybe for 1 or 2 shots, and then we're pushing right back forward again. I hope you enjoyed the video. So remember, if you want to take all these tips to the court with you next time you play, make sure you grab your screenshot so that you get all the important information from this video.